Welcome in. This is the Second Cut Podcast, your mega preview pod for this week's Memorial Tournament. It's storylines, it's best bets, it's one and done. Joining me to break it all down, Greg DuCharme is here. Gregors.
Rick, what is going on? I'm really excited about this week. I love the Memorial Tournament. It's my favorite PGA Tour golf course, non-major, and I can't wait to see this. But hey, how'd your preview show go?
Well, thank you for asking. I think it went very well. It was 32 minutes live, just straight sprinting yesterday. It's still available on ESPN Plus if anybody wants to check it out. But I was telling Mina, usually when we're on the couch, it's like an 8-hour show. To run through it in 30 minutes was like warp speed, but I think it went well.
It's a whirlwind. I'm glad it's still on ESPN Plus. I didn't get to watch it yesterday. I'll try to check it out tonight.
Yeah, available
That's
on
awesome.
demand. Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate it. Well, listen, we're doing something different tonight because we are balancing schedules. I'm running from a production meeting. Greg's got to get out of here a little bit early. Mark is going to come in late. We're going to hot swap at some point. So we are doing a little bit of a bizarro episode where we're going to flip the script and we're going to start, Greg, with the fantasy portion of the show. Before we do that, let's just lay the foundation of Muirfield Village, what you would expect to see, and the types of golfers before we start naming them that are more likely to have success this week.
One of the more interesting golf courses on the PGA Tour for a couple reasons. I'm just going to read you a couple of stats here, okay? First of all, it's nearly 7,600 yards, par 72, so it's long. Fourth longest golf course we've seen so far this year, but it has 5,000 square foot greens. Last year, those were the third smallest greens. And it also has the third shortest average driving distance. At least that was last year on the PGA Tour. So you have a long golf course where players don't hit a lot of drivers and the greens are very small. And then add to it, it's very difficult to scramble on. There are challenges everywhere you look. If there's any reprieve, you can hit the fairways. They're generous. But should you miss them, it's the third highest penalty, or I should say cost of rough. If you hit it in the rough, it's the third most difficult course on the PGA Tour. So all these things kind of come together, and they create a leaderboard like this. Listen to last year's top 10, and tell me what you hear when you hear it. Scheffler, Ben Griffin, Sepp Straka, Nick Taylor, Russell Henley, Maverick McNeely, Keegan Bradley, Ricky Fowler, Tom Hoagie, Brandt Snedeker, Jordan Spieth.
Wow.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear that?
I think that's an eclectic group of players is what I think it is.
It is. But I also think it's, if anything, it's not a group of bombers.
No, it's not.
Scotty Scheffler in that group last year, looking at the way the season ended, Scotty Scheffler was the longest player in that group. He was 44th in driving distance. Everybody else in that top 10 was outside of that. In fact, there were 5 players in that group outside the top 100 in driving distance.
Wow.
So it's not like all accuracy, but there's a healthy group of really accurate players. I'd include Scheffler in that, Straka, Nick Taylor, Russell Henley, Brandt Snedeker. Ricky Fowler's kind of borderline, but these are accurate drivers of the ball. So I think it's ultimately if there's one stat you got to look at, it's tee to green, strokes gained tee to green.
Okay, well, I can handle that. I can also handle. I don't know if I can handle this. American Mike.
I can't handle it.
You dirty scoundrel has just come in and dropped 100 bones on us. A super chat of epic proportions. A Scotty Scheffler-esque super chat, if you will. Thank you, American Mike. He says it ain't a party till someone drops a hundy on the group. And I'll tell you what, it's a party right now, American Mike. Gregors, I owe you 33.33.
Let's party, baby. Keep adding it up. Cha-ching, add to the total. American Mike. God bless America. That's
God bless America. Say. Mars knows this too. If we split it now before Mark gets here, we can do it 50-50. So
That's true. Was he here? I don't know. We got options.
tough to say. All right, let's get into this because we have laid the foundation for the golf course, and now Greg has. He's done all the computations in his brain. He's looked at every single angle, and he has come up with Greg's golfer of the week, the GGOW. That player is
JJ Spawn. Are you surprised?
No.
Are you surprised that I mentioned JJ Spawn here? I am all over this guy. He should have won last week. He didn't. And I think that's a good thing. I think it keeps you hungry, right? There's something clearly missing from his game that he feels like he can improve upon, and that's his putting. So all these metrics that I look at, strokes gained tee to green, he's 8th on tour. Driving accuracy, he's 16th. Greens of regulation, very important. He's 33rd. You start even getting into some of the other approach metrics. Proximity to the hole, he's 2nd. This guy from tee to green is phenomenal. And I would even say that his around the green play, he's 54th in strokes gained around the green. That's pretty good. But 124th in scrambling. That's all because of the putter. And then you look at what he's done recently, and he has gained at least a full shot, at least 1.4 strokes in his last 4 events around the greens. Tee to green, this guy is elite. And now we're in this situation where, hey, can he put together something on the greens for 4 days? Something not terrible. Just like we said last week. And if he can win.
Give us something not terrible. I think, Greg, you have done a very good job of having the pulse of JJ Spawn, and that pulse beats on. He is now Greg's golfer of the week. Let's go to the top of the board. These are the most expensive players on DraftKings. This is the golfers who are 9K and above. I'll spoil the first one. It's Scotty Scheffler. Describe to me how we're going to get this $13,500 golfer into lineups and why we are willing to pay this price.
It doesn't seem that expensive to me.
Okay.
I know it's wild. Look, some of the guys we're going to talk about in the upper end here after, I really like, and it's going to be hard to work them in with Scotty Scheffler. I'm very aware of that.
It's actually like the cheapest he's been this year, by the way.
So I'm not wrong when I say it feels like he's cheap.
Yeah.
But talk about a tee to green monster. I mean, he's 1st on tour in tee to green. He's 24th in driving accuracy. He's 1st in greens of regulation. Like that iron play that he was struggling with early in the season, that didn't look Scotty Scheffler like for the first couple of events, is back. It's very much back. In his last 3 events, he's gained over 5 strokes approaching the green. There was a period of time where he was 120th in strokes gained approach this season on tour. He's up to 15th. So he's figuring it out, and now he's coming to the golf course that suits his game better than anyone else's. I don't think there's another player. This is like Rory and Quail Hollow. That would be the comparison to me. Scotty and Muirfield Village is like Rory and Quail Hollow. I think he's going to three-peat this week.
Well, he's the favorite to do so. He's actually not as short as he has been. So, yeah, that starts to line up with this salary as well. Scotty Scheffler getting the nod at $13,500. Let's continue with the big boppers here, Greg. There's 2 more on your short list. I'm ready to go in either direction. Where do you want to go first?
Let's go to Ludwig.
Oh, Ludi. Okay.
Yeah, Ludwig, 10,100. Again, you're obviously not going to get Ludwig and Scotty into a lineup. I mean, I guess you could. I don't recommend it. But I think there's here we go. All right. He switched to the mallet putter last week.
Yeah, he did. You're rifling through your papers there.
Yeah, I had this on a sheet from earlier in the week. I knew right where it was. I just had to get to it.
Yeah.
Switched to the mallet putter last week. The big thing for Ludwig is what is he going to do from short range on the greens? And this is why the move to the mallet is so important for him specifically. So on the year, from inside of 10 feet, he's 84th, making 88% of his putts. Last week, he was 4th. making 94.29% of his putts. Okay, so 6% increase. Of course, it's a small sample size, but nice increase. From 4 to 8 feet, 80th on the year, making just over 69% of his putts. Last week, tied fourth, 88.24%. And inside of 5 feet, he missed one last week. But so he was 98.21% for the year, 112th, 96.74. So immediate gains in the short putting specifically for Ludwig Åberg. And when you look at what he's done tee to green all year, I mean, on rickrungood.com, this is just a block of dark green. It is just phenomenal what he's done tee to green. I think his short game's improved. These guys that quote unquote can't win do at some point, and I don't think this is time to jump off the Ludwig bandwagon.
1.5 strokes gained per round in 2026. It's the most for anybody without a victory this year. Not a problem for next player on your list, Matt Fitzpatrick. In fact, Greg, if he were to win at any point for the rest of the year, he'd become the first Englishman to ever win 4 times in a PGA Tour season, which I thought was interesting. Not really relevant to this conversation, but I thought that was an interesting footnote.
It is very interesting. I mean, I guess part of the time when you have like Nick Faldo playing, he's playing a lot more on the DP World Tour.
That's right. I had to go look that up. Yeah, he'd won like twice on the PGA Tour in the same year, or like obviously the Masters counts as a PGA Tour win, but like a lot of international play.
Yeah. So it is a different time, but it's still impressive. You got guys like Justin Rose and the Lee Westwoods and Ian Poulter, a lot of great English players that haven't won 4 times in a year. So that's the kind of year it's been for Matt Fitzpatrick, and it really comes off of a huge improvement in iron play. So he's 4th this year in strokes gained approach. You can see right there the approach column is all green. He's been phenomenal in that area. His next best was 2022 when he won the U.S. Open. He was 48th. So this is by far his best approach play season. And then everything else in his game is great. He's very accurate. He's long enough, plenty long, and he has a great short game. Right, 8th in strokes gained around the green. Tee to green this year, he's 2nd behind only Scotty Scheffler. Things are looking really good for Fitzy. And click on his memorial record there because it's pretty darn good.
Yeah, it is. T31 last year, but T5, T9 the previous 2 years. He had a 3rd place finish in 2020. A lot of really good stuff here.
Yeah, so with that improved iron, I think iron play is pretty important here. It may not be the separator because it is really hard, but I think all signs point to a good Matt Fitzpatrick week.
Speaking of guys who have a great record here, and the last man in the 9K range for Greg's short list, Patrick Cantlay makes an appearance.
Yeah, this is really because of the course history, but he does look pretty good as well. I mean, PGA Championship, he's tied 35th. Quail Hollow tied 10th, tied 8th at Harbour Town, tied 12th at Augusta National, tied 7th at the Valspar. These are good finishes. He just has this knack of not getting on TV, not getting in contention. It's amazing.
He has a knack of getting on for one shot and then ejecting himself.
And I think that gives him a bad rap. From a fantasy perspective, these are great finishes.
Yeah.
You're probably, maybe at Aronimink, you're leaving something on the table there, but you're probably pretty happy with this every other week.
Yeah, for sure.
Now we go to a non-major where he has a phenomenal record. 1 win here with an asterisk, but it's still a phenomenal performance. So I think what we've seen from Patrick Cantlay is good enough, and with his course history, it makes him a really solid play.
The 8K range. Greg has identified 3 players on his short list, though I'll tell you, one is JJ Spawn, his golfer of the week. So, Greg, 2 others available to you. What direction do you want to go in?
I think Justin Thomas, probably the right place to go here.
Here he is.
8,400. Yeah. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking what I'm seeing with the driver
Mm-hmm.
a lot. Okay, so he's gaining strokes, but he's also been just looking at the eye test. I'll go with the old Patrick McDonald eye test.
Oh, the eye test. Although it was Patrick McDonald's eye test that he said Scotty Scheffler did not fit
He
the eye
didn't have
test.
it.
So
He
you
didn't
do have to wonder if he should get his eyes checked.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe just look at the stats a little more.
Yeah.
Because then he'll pass every test. But what I'm seeing out of Justin Thomas is a much more accurate driver of the ball. It looks like he's hitting shots off the tee the way he does with irons instead of, throttling back and trying to hit it as high and as far as he can. So you're not seeing the spray gun quite as much, and it's great to watch. The tee to green performance has been there over the last couple of weeks. It seems like he's healthy and ready to go. A little concerned about the putting performance last week at Colonial, but I'm hoping it improves. Seems like with JT here at Muirfield Village, he's either gaining over 2 strokes putting or losing over 2 strokes putting. He's had really good weeks and terrible weeks putting, which, hey, that's why we play the game. I'm looking at what he did at Aronimink and at Quail Hollow, and I'm like, hey, we got a pretty good chance we see a good putting week out of JT.
Also, remember the Workday Charity Open was played at Muirfield Village. They played back-to-back weeks in 2020. JT lost in a playoff to Colin Morikawa that week, if I remember that correctly.
Yeah, he made like a 50-footer
on 18,
and then Morikawa made a 20-footer on top of him.
Yeah,
and I always thought if there were fans there, Morikawa would not have made that putt.
Oh,
because it would have been like it would have been like the WM Phoenix Open when JT's putt went in.
Yeah, it would have been chaos. JT's $8,400. The other man here is $8,000 even. And Greg, oh boy, I love this man. I'm starting to really develop a man crush for Alex Smalley.
Yeah, I mean, why is he $8,000?
I don't know.
Right, we just think that this is too good to be true. What's the deal? Now you're talking about 2 straight weeks where he gained strokes in every single category. And it was pretty darn close in the weeks before that as well. This is a complete game. We've seen very solid putting performances, but it doesn't seem like it's anything crazy. It just seems like it's steady, good play, which is just what you need here at Jack's Place. He's got 5 top 10s in his last 6 events, or 4 in his last 5 events. Is it too good to be true? I don't know, Rick. He hasn't finished outside the top 25 since the Valspar in March. I think you stick with Alex Smalley.
Yeah, just let it continue to roll on. It looks like a sustainable profile. You're not going to get any qualms from me. A little bit more value here, Greg. There's the 7K range, and this man might be the most difficult to predict. He might be the hardest to figure out. He's $7,900. He's from Dallas, Texas. His name is Jordan Spieth.
This is what I want you to do.
Okay.
Pretend this man is not a 3-time major champion.
Okay.
And didn't have one of the most electric runs you've ever seen in golf in 2015.
Okay.
This is just a PGA Tour player who's $7,900 on DraftKings.
Okay.
I look at that and I see 3 of his last 4 events, he's finished in the top 20. 5 of his last 7 events. Is that right? Top 20, something like that. Tied 12th at the Masters, 33rd at Harbortown, 18th at Doral, 52nd at Quail, 18th at Aronimink, 19th at CJ Cup Byron Nelson. Those are fine results.
Yeah, they are.
Then you look at his course history, and now you got 3 top 20s in his last 4, 2 top 10s in his last 3. Pretty darn good. Look, you look at Jordan Spieth and you want him to be back, and get that out of your head. What's the price? He's $7,900. What are the results? What the data says, this guy's really good and playing really well. He's fairly priced, and he has a great record here. If you replaced his name with Alex Smalley, you'd be all over this. So I don't think there's any reason to shy away
Yeah.
because it's not 2015 Jordan.
Yeah, he will never be back because back was the number one player in the world in dominant fashion. It's never going to happen again.
It's just not.
And that's okay.
He could still win.
Yeah. This one caught me off guard a little bit. I didn't realize how well Sepp Straka had been playing. You did. He's made your short list.
Yeah. So he played in Europe in the Austrian Open. He's Austrian, I guess.
Well, in some senses he is, yes.
I joke about that. I give him a lot of credit. I've heard him in a press conference answer in German, and he speaks it fluently.
Really?
So he's a real Austrian.
Okay.
Okay, he's not playing under a false flag like we like to say during Ryder Cup time.
Yeah.
But my goodness, 4 straight events gaining over 2 strokes approaching the green, 7.5 in Austria. Granted, it's a DP World Tour event, so different field. But the iron play has been elite. His driving accuracy is down a little bit this year. He's 60th this year. He was 30th last year. But the record here is also phenomenal.
Yeah, surprisingly good.
Surprisingly. And I think the reason for that is he likes hard golf courses. There's a premium on getting the ball in the fairway. And the fairways are wide enough where you can hit them. You can pile them up if you're accurate here. Sepp is. I expect him to pile it up. And he's very good from the fairway. He tends to struggle. If you look at his proximity numbers, he struggles from the rough, but he's very good from the fairway. I think he's going to be in a lot of fairways this week.
If you're trying to get Scotty Scheffler into lineups, you might need to tread down into this $6,000 range. Greg, you've identified 3 golfers in the 6K range. Where would you like to go first?
Well, right at 6,900's Christopher Wrighton. I kind of feel like he's underpriced here. Now, I don't necessarily love, because he doesn't have a lot of experience here. I think this is his first trip, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, it is.
But he won 2 starts ago. He's gained strokes off the tee approaching the green and around the green in his last 3 events. He's striping it. And at 6,900, I don't know. You're not going to see a profile like this in the $6,000 range very often, especially coming off a win at Quail Hollow, another big boy golf course.
Well, I like what he did right after the win is he then went to the PGA Championship the next week and was phenomenal from tee to green. You know, he lost 2.5 strokes putting at a Ronimink. Like, I'm not going to beat him up for that single bit. So yeah, he's been on a good run here and has already won a signature event. So it's nice to see.
Keep it rolling.
Nick Taylor is next, Greg. He's $6,800. He's $100 cheaper than Chris is. And what about this profile, or what about this setup for Taylor gets you excited?
Well, the recent finishes are strong. Tied 26 at Aronimink with a horrible Sunday. You know, he was right there in the mix when everybody was tied at 6 under. He was there too. Tied 14th at Quail Hollow, which I would say is a terrible golf course for him. Tied 9th at Cadillac, which I would say is a terrible golf course for him. This one's a much better golf course for him. So I've seen some good putting recently, some very good short game in the last month or so, and his iron play can absolutely pop. And it's been decent in the last month. He's gained strokes in 3 of his last 4.
And finally, the cheapest man on the short list, almost the cheapest man in the entire field, I believe. And Greg, a name that we have not discussed much in years in the fantasy section. Who is it?
It's Brandt Snedeker.
It's Brandt Snedeker.
Now, typically, I'd look at this and say, okay, what's the upside? There's no upside. But as I was doing my research, he finished tied 7th last year. He has a terrible record here other than that. But and he shot a great round on Sunday, which got him up into that top 10. But what I'm seeing recently is he's gained 3 or more strokes approaching the green in 3 of his last 4 events that are measured. And that goes back to the Valero Texas Open. So it's not like it was 4 weeks in a row. This is going back a while. There's a high potential for him to pop with his iron play. He's clearly figured something out in that category. 2 times in that stretch, he's gained over 6 strokes putting. You know how good he can be on the greens. And while he bleeds strokes off the tee, because he doesn't hit it out of his shadow, he is very accurate. I want to say 16th on tour in driving accuracy. So playing from the fairway with a guy who's really feeling good about his irons, who has good memories here from last year, at basically the min price, I think there's a lot more upside here than there is elsewhere down at the bottom.
The Scheffler-Snedeker combo might be able to get you started for this week. Okay. I've got word that we've got our third voice lurking in the wings. Mina, are you going to be able to swap out the fantasy? She's saying yes, she's going to be able to swap out the fantasy. She's going to be able to bring our latest man. There he is. Mark Immelman joins us. Mr. Mark, it's good to see you.
What's up, boys? Nice to see you. I was listening to Greg's diatribe there. I'm completely on board with Nick Taylor.
Yes.
Very much so around here. I'm really on board with Seb Strucker for reasons you'll find out shortly.
Oh, boy.
And I wasn't so sure about Sneds, but anyway.
Well, we can discuss it. But
it's okay not to be sure as long as you agree with me mostly.
Well, I wasn't agreeing with you on Sneds.
All right, let's change topics here. Not topics, but go in a different direction a little bit. And Mark, we did provide, Greg gave us a great little overview of Muirfield Village, but I wanted to open it back up to you with a little bit of a different lens. You know, Muirfield Village, obviously fantastic golf course, asks a lot of you, but it's also a place that Rory McIlroy has played a lot and he has not won. So I'm going to ask you in this way, what is it about Muirfield Village that has not allowed Rory McIlroy to get over the finish line?
That is a really good question, to be very honest with you. You know, as I look at the golf course and I look at golfers' skill sets, Muirfield Village lets you drive the ball a little bit. There is space on the par fives. You can go ahead and take advantage. But just like Augusta National, in a strange way, a lot of the really dangerous trouble is down the left-hand side. If you miss to the right, largely you can play. But if we had to go through the holes, trees on the left are no good. Down one, bunker you can handle. Down the right-hand side, at 2 is bad. But next hole on 3, left is bad. If you miss on 4, left is bad. If you miss on 5, left is very bad. You'll see people hit the ball in the trees and be okay. Miss on 6, there's bunkers down there. Miss on 7, there's deep bunkers down there. Turn the par 5 into a 3-shotter. So it's a par 3, 9. It's kind of much of a muchness. Missing left on 10 is a bad idea. Missing left on 11 is a bad idea. Are you seeing the theme here?
Mm-hmm.
And when Rory's a little off, you know, it's block option hook kind of thing. When he's free flowing, he hits the draw and he's not afraid of doing it. So I think sometimes he feels a bit hemmed in, you know, for not that he's hitting a draw, but for fear of the draw going off on him. That's number one. And then number 2, the greens just get so fast that if you're putting from above the hole, you're putting defensively. And I know strokes gained is going to say that if you're above the hole from 5 feet, your make percentage is more than what it is from below the hole 7 or 8 feet. Yeah, I hear you. But if you're standing above the hole from 5 feet on those greens, you're thinking don't have 5 feet coming back. Now, you might sort of dribble one in, but life just becomes harder and more stressful. And stress takes its toll. So I think it's sort of a combination of the factors. But as far as those go, I think playing from underneath the flag is always a good idea here. So that's why it lends itself to good iron players and all great putters. We've seen Denny McCarthy play well there because he putts well. But the key is to play from the right, putt from the correct side of the hole.
The other interesting thing, Greg, that Rory had mentioned in his presser this week is he said he feels like this place neutralizes him a little bit off the tee. Some of the landing, some of the trouble off the tee is like right where he would want to land it, you know, contrasting that to Quail Hollow, where you could fly a lot of that, or some other places that he never even has to look at trouble. This place seems to kind of put it right in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, and that's I think a sign of a great design of a golf course, because it lets players of all lengths compete and contend. There is not a huge distance advantage here. There's a big penalty for missing. I find that to be somewhat of a rare combo on long golf courses like this. And then you look at one area that Rory has struggled with at times is shorter irons. And I say struggled. It's kind of like looking at his record here and saying it's not very good.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't won.
95% of guys would trade records with him here.
Yeah. So, he hasn't won here. Okay. Well, he struggles with short irons. They're just not the best part. They're not up to the standard of his driving game or his short game, which I think are world class. So, maybe that plays a little bit of a role where Scotty Scheffler excels more in the accuracy department and more in the precision with the irons, especially the shorter irons. Not that your approach shots are short here, but when you get these really small landing areas, distance control is crucial. And I think Scotty is the best at that, and I think Rory is good at that at times. And struggles with it at times as well. So, I'm curious to see how Rory does, but more so than any of that, where is he with his game? He's hard to handicap because you don't see him very much. This is only his 8th tournament of the year. I think I'm very curious to see how the rest of Rory's career goes playing a limited schedule like that. Can you... If anybody can, it's him. But can you just flip a switch and say, "Hey, I want to win this one," and go do it? I don't know that it works that way.
Well,
so I'm watching closely.
Well, since he started going to this pick and choose schedule of his, he's won 2 Masters. So I figure the way he's grading his career, because that's what he's interested in. I mean, he's not going to break Tiger's tournament wins record. I don't think anyone's going to. The consecutive cuts thing, well, that's out the window. So you measure yourself by majors. And so I think everything's lining up around the major championships for the next 10 years or so.
But I will add one other thing on that, because I think it's a great point. Look at his schedule before the Masters. Much more. He's played 2 events after the Masters. But he played Pebble, Riviera, Bay Hill, Players, all right before the Masters.
Yeah, but that was 3 months, though. I mean,
it's a good point.
It's coming thick and fast now.
It's not that much different. It's not as different as I was thinking. It's still 2 events a month. That's basically where he's at.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Rory is going to be certainly the eye of many viewers this week, to keep an eye on him and see how he's doing. Ludwig also fits into that category. He's been the best player statistically without a win this year. And there is a Patreon question from Oliver. He's one of our patrons. Thank you very much. So this comes in through the Patreon, and this is, it feels like a trick question, but I want to throw it out to you guys. He says, Ludwig Oberg has made the tour and has 2 wins in his first 4 years. Chris Gotterup already has 4 wins in 3 years. Who would you rather have stock in moving forward? Now, Greg, feels like a trick question because we have spent the last handful of years, anointing Ludwig as the next coming. But Oliver points out the fact that, there are some guys who have won more frequently than he has.
My goodness, what an impossible question. The question is now, what's the price right now? If they're the same price right now, I still don't know what to do.
You should be a lawyer because you're completely changing the subject.
Yeah, he just changed the whole question, and it's like, well, what a great question.
Who would you rather have stock in? Well,
who would you rather? You're right. I didn't think of what the current price is.
Has Gotterup passed Ludwig with 4?
Pick a player.
Let's say they're both at $50 a share, Greg.
$50 a share, yeah. Doing calculations. I think Gotterup has a lot of dog in him. I think Gotterup's going to go win events you don't think he's going to win.
Wow.
I think it's really close, and that's why it's such a great question. But I also think Ludwig is, for a while, I thought he was overrated. I think he's actually getting to where He's
Dang, Greg.
appropriately rated. He was rated top 5. I didn't think he was a top 5 player in the world. I think he's approaching that. I'd probably go.
Come on, Greg.
Say it.
I'd probably go Ludwig.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that was a lot closer than I thought, Mark.
I hate that one.
Okay, who are you going with, Rick?
Ludwig.
Ludwig. Here's my thing. My only reservation about Ludwig, because if you'd asked me this maybe a year ago, I would have said, without a doubt, Ludwig. But of the two of them, it seems to me that Goddard is way less injury prone with the way he swings the golf club. And that to me is a real thing to consider. You know me, I say it all the time. Yes, Ludwig, he had that knee injury, man. It kept him, he was subpar for a while. Goddard's been out for a while. He is not handcuffed by technique. He's not trying to put his wrists in enviable positions at the top. In fact, he has a nugget for you, right? Every golf instructor and their dog probably would complain about his really cupped or extended wrists at the top of the swing. So he has some insider knowledge. You know, have you seen when he plays, he never does up the Velcro tab on his glove?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the reason is because his glove hand gets so cupped, the Velcro would split open and the sound would bother him at the top of his golf swing. So now he's like, screw it, I'm just not going to do the tab up. And that is so freaking refreshing. He's like, no, I'm not going to change. This is who I am. And people could control. I've heard people say he flips the club at the bottom. Yeah, he throws the heck out of the thing, but he hits a cut all day long and you can set your wristwatch on it. So what I'm trying to say is he's not putting his body in adverse situations. Lots of foot raising, knee flexing, that sort of stuff. So I feel like he's kind of that old school looking guy, you know, from the boys back in the 60s and 70s and early 80s that drank a few beers, played a little golf and lasted forever, as opposed to the athlete right now that's so tightly wound that you look at them crooked and they've tweaked in fascia chain somewhere. So I would side towards Goddard because of the fact that I think if you're looking over the long haul, I feel like he's a little bit less injury prone.
Wow. Okay. This was Oliver. Well done. Much better results of that question than I thought we were going to get. You'd think that somebody would just make Goddard up a glove that didn't have the Velcro, just like a slip-on.
But the Velcro's got a little sweet Bridgestone logo on it. So at the odd turn, someone's going to see that. So that's the thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless they do like Bryson and they put the B on his palm. Remember?
We got to figure something out here. Okay. The grid is a big part of the show. What we do is we take one matchup, one finishing position, two separate outrights, compile them into the outline. Mina puts them into a grid. She puts them into a graphic and she releases them right now. Yes. Good job, everybody. All right, Gregors, give me your matchup for this week's Memorial Tournament.
Oh man, I handled the matchups this week kind of like I handled that question on Goddard and Oberg. I had a hard time with it, but I ended up going with Wyndham Clark over Akshay Bhatia. And as I was going through the reasons, I was like, man, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But Akshay's just been struggling to find fairways. He's been inaccurate off the tee, and he's been scrambling well when he's played well. But I think that's going to catch up to you here at the Memorial. So he worries me. Now, Wyndham Clark is not exactly a fairway finder. So that's why it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I have seen a big uptick this year for Wyndham in his approach play. He won in his last start. I got to think he's feeling pretty good and is going to find his way around somewhat. So I have Wyndham Clark over Akshay Bhatia, minus 105.
All right. Wyndham Clark over Akshay. Mark and I have identified the same matchup. Mark, tell everybody who it is.
Well, I'll tell them if you explain why. How about
Sure.
that?
Yeah, that's fine.
I am picking, this is a battle of the old guys in the field, and I'm going with Australia over England. In other words, Adam Scott beating Justin Rose. Have a go there, Rick. Plus 100, by the way.
Both are absolutely experienced around this place, but I have been impressed with Adam Scott. He is now he is only behind Colin Morikawa in strokes gained approach this year, which is just crazy to think about. He's just been a pure flusher. I think that this is probably one of the better setups for him. The firmer and faster, the better. And then also, while Justin Rose has played well, he's a very inconsistent player. And when you have a 4-round matchup against a random golfer, you don't necessarily want the inconsistency. So it all adds up to Adam Scott over Justin Rose for Mark and I.
I'm going to add to that. Our boy Greg said that this was going to be the year of regression for Justin Rose. so I'm banking on some of that insight.
Yep. Here it comes.
And I'll also go with this. Look, Justin has won here at the Memorial. Adam's best finish is the top 5. But I've just been watching him play lately, and he's been a 3-round wonder kid, and 1 round, not usually the first round, has been sort of somewhat baffling. When we were down in Miami at the Cadillac Championship, shot a first round of like 77, I think it was something ridiculous, and came back and finished inside the top 10. And Quail Hollow did sort of the same thing. So if he can get over the hump tomorrow morning, get something decent, I sound like I'm talking about Scotty now. I honestly think Adam could contend this week. I really do.
Finishing positions. We have 2 top 20s and a top 40. Mark, because you are the top 40 and because you're just running hot, I'm going to bounce this right back to you here. Give me your finishing position, please.
Love my top 40s. Love Greg's pick. I'll let him talk about that. I'm fascinated by Nico Echeverria. 3 times a winner on tour. He seems to show up, he's got a little dog in him. I thought a top 40 number for positive bet at plus 116 was a good deal because he played solidly last week, and the putting is solid and he's a nice ball striker. So let's go, Nico, top 40, buddy. Let's do it.
Yeah. Remember, this is a 72 player field, top 50 and ties, and anybody within 10 shots getting into the weekend.
Within 10.
Yeah, so there is a cut this week, but
there'll be 60 people playing. Is that what you're
saying? Yes, exactly right. I went with Billy Horschel, who has not had a good year, but he's starting to play a little bit better to finish inside the top 20. This number was like 6.5 to 1 and has been bet down to plus 485, probably because we saw a little bit better play out of Billy in his last start and the great run that he's had at the Memorial in his career.
Here's a nugget. Was it Billy that was playing alongside Tiger Woods when Tiger shot 85 that one Saturday morning or whenever it was?
Oh, my goodness.
Was it Horschel or was it Zach Blair?
I didn't know Tiger shot 85.
Yeah. Well, it's around well in the 80s.
I will find out and get back to you.
Yeah.
I've got Billy Horschel. I'll find the answer to that question. Greg, your top, it's a 20, top 20, please.
Yes, it's top 20, and it's Nick Taylor. I really like what I've seen out of him lately. 3 straight top 26 finishes. He's done it in all areas of the game. I like where his short game is right now. It's been very good this season as a whole, and it's been pretty good lately as well. His iron play is probably the strength of his game. I see this is the kind of golf course where he's going to play from the fairway a lot, and his precision into the greens is going to go a long way for him. And like I said, he was tied 26 at Aronimink, but he was on the first page of the leaderboard on Sunday and melted away late. So I think his form is really strong, and he finished top 10 here last year as well. Loving Nick Taylor, top 20, plus 180.
Yeah, I actually have him in the top Canadian market, so you and I can root on Nick Taylor together. Greg, while you're hot, why don't you give us your 2 outrights, because you are going for a perfect. Wait, no, you're not. You can't have a perfect grid. Sorry. You have a with Scotty and a without Scotty.
I made a mistake in the grid. These are both without Scotty.
Oh, okay.
All right. So that number for JT is without Scotty. I realized I didn't type it in. And then I came back and typed it in right before the show started. So poor Mina had already made all these graphics. So I have JJ Spawn without Scheffler and Justin Thomas without Scheffler at 34 to 1 for JJ Spawn, 32 to 1 for Justin Thomas. I've talked about JJ Spawn a lot. We're a not terrible putt-in week away from a win. I feel like this is the kind of event where Scheffler could go shoot 5 under, or beat the field by 5, and I think JJ Spawn could be right there with a chance to come in second. And he'd be so offended if he heard me say that. I really think he could win this tournament based on how good his iron play is. And Justin Thomas, we've talked about both of these players already. I'm really intrigued by his driving. It seems like it's much more accurate lately. I think that's going to go a long way here at Muirfield Village. You're going to see JT playing from the fairway much more, and that's really going to help with, you're going to see JT's iron play, which is his strength, really come into focus. And he has one of the best short games on the PGA Tour, which is a challenge here. So both of these guys have the potential to go crazy if they can have a decent week on the greens.
34-1 JJ Spawn without Scotty Scheffler. 32-1 Justin Thomas without Scotty Scheffler. Mark, I don't know if you know this, but your two golfers on your grid are literally number 1 and number 2 of the best players this year without wins. So you think they're going to break through here, one of them?
Well, one of them I've used, and he finished runner-up to me after Wyndham Clark went unconscious on the final day at the CJ Cup, and that's Si Woo, who is just playing just beautiful golf all around. And for something, I don't know what it is, he always seems to play well here, and he's mentioned that he feels comfortable on the greens, which doesn't make sense whatsoever, because if there was a place where an average putter was going to have issues, it was on this place, but Si Woo not. And the other one is Ludwig. We've been talking about him. I said here recently that I feel like everything's lining up and he's a champion in waiting. So I'm going to hit this one until it hits before the end of the year, because it's time now for him to do work. Last week didn't have his best stuff, but still gamed out a good Sunday to have something respectable in terms of finishes. But he's going to win, and then it's going to change the Goddard Oberg conversation to a Ludwig choice for me.
Ludwig and Si Woo on Mark's grid. How am I the only one who has Scotty Scheffler on the grid? How is that possible? We do this every week.
Look, Rick, the reason I went with these two without Scheffler guys is because you had the grid filled out before me.
Oh, okay. I did.
And I saw Scheffler in there, and I said, all right, I'm going to have a little fun.
All right.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say, because I'm boycotting Scotty because I panic picked him for the PGA in one and done, and he putted like a freaking blind man. So I'm just completely out on Scotty. As much as I love the guy, I'm out on him for a bit. I'm not going to pick him anymore.
Scotty is the only course he's been better at in his career is TPC Craig Ranch. There is no place he's been better at from tee to green in his career. There is no place that anyone has been better at in their career from tee to green than Scotty Scheffler at Muirfield Village in the history of ShotLink. It is crazy what he has done. He's on my grid. He's plus 310. Benny Boom Boom Benny, whatever we're calling him these days. 41-1. Gained strokes throughout the bag last week. I think he's like 3 weeks behind JJ Spawn had the career year, got off to a slow start. Now I'm starting to figure it out again. Had a strong finish here last year. I could not pass up Ben Griffin at 41-1. I have who played with Tiger when he shot an 85.
Zach Blair or Billy?
It was Zach Blair.
Okay.
Yeah. Zach Blair. Yeah. It took me, ShotLink didn't have it. I tried to go to old ShotLink, go in there, click show group. Never popped up. I had to do a little bit of research. Zach Blair.
Well, I remember Billy because we interviewed people and he seemed inconsolable because he was playing somewhat close. And Billy was he was distraught about Tiger shooting this horrid round that he did. What was it? How much was it?
It was an 85. He shot it on Saturday. That included
on the call.
A quad on 18.
Yeah.
He had back-to-back doubles on 8 and 9. He did make a birdie.
He made a big mistake on 12 too, didn't he?
On 12 in round 3. Well, he hit it. No, he's made a bogey long left on 12 and made a bogey. And then he did shoot a 74 the next day.
One of the great radio calls of all time was John McGuinness that week, and he was on Tiger Woods duty. And he had been on Tiger on Thursday and Friday, and Tiger had scrapped it around the place and made the cut, I think, on the number, and he was out early on Saturday morning. And of course, I'm going to set it up. The event's played in Dublin, Ohio. So they come to John for an update. Tiger's so bad, they're not even getting live calls. They come to John for an update, and John starts it off. Well, after making 4 on the 12th, Tiger's out here bogeying and doubling and tripling and all these way around the golf course. When he goes up here in Dublin, Tiger's bogeying and tripling, and and it was. I actually giggled for about 10 minutes afterwards. The wit and the presence of mind to kind of play on words the way he did. It was excellent.
He's doubling and tripling. I like that. Very.
No, I can't do it with the accent because it's doubling to me.
We've got one last thing to do, gentlemen. That, of course, is the most important thing. We have to reveal the one and done picks. Now, Mina, she is prepared. Mark is out front, $9.4 million. I'm at $6 million. Mina's at 5.3. Greg is at 3.3. There is a cool $4 million at the top of this table. So anything can happen.
So you can barely overtake me. Is that what you're saying, Rick?
I can overtake you.
Barely.
So you didn't need barely. I can overtake you. Nina cannot. But she can get close. All right, let's see the silhouettes.
I see Alex Smalley. I finally recognize somebody.
Yeah,
I see Matt Fitzpatrick.
Do you?
Where?
Yeah.
Which one? Mina's?
Mina.
You think that's Matt Fitzpatrick?
I think so.
Mine looks like Xander, but it's not Xander.
No, yours, you got, who's the sleeves?
Yeah, the sleeves.
I feel like JJ Spawn has sleeves like that, but
he
that's
does.
not him.
It's not him. All right, Gregors. Whenever you're ready.
For me, it's Alex Smalley.
Yeah.
Good pick, man. Let me give you some insight here. I had like a 3:15 wake up call on Monday morning for a flight home, all right? And so I'd gotten a text from his caddy, Mike, Sunday morning saying, hey, can I talk to you? And we just can get together. So I get on the bus at DFW, and lo and behold, there's Mike, Alex Smalley's caddy. And he goes, I'm like, sorry, I missed you. And he goes, you've called him a few times over the last few weeks because I had him one day last week. He goes, what advice would you have? What does he need to do differently? And my response was, he doesn't need to do anything differently.
Yeah, they're lighting the place on fire.
Well, I said the only thing, if you were trying to scratch an itch, is that every time he had a short club and a back right hole location, he turned a draw away from it and turned something that should have been 15, 20 feet into about 40 feet.
Yeah.
And he goes, interesting. And so I highlighted the times there was whenever he had a scoring club and there was a right hole location, bar the 12th hole on the final round, where the wind was actually off the left. He sort of struggled with those because he draws the ball so hard. And of course, he doesn't want to aim the ball outside the green.
Right.
So I'm like, just a little hold shot with a short club and you guys should be fine.
Oh, man. Mark just gave him the keys. And now Greg's going to just open the door and get his $4 million from it. All right, Mark, if Smalley wins this week and he hits something on the back nine on Sunday to a back right pin, we'll give you $500,000 in one and done money.
Okay, cool.
Like a finder's fee.
You can't just change the rules.
I don't know. I think it's fun.
What are you
Nina's not for
doing?
it. Well, how about we give him FedEx Cup points?
Nina, his name is all. When I turn on Splash, when I open up Splash, I see Rick's mug everywhere. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
No, it's my doing. I say
right.
no. We'll give you FedEx Cup points, Mark.
Oh, good. Oh, so now you're the commissioner of the PGA Tour?
I've never seen Mina show up on camera that quickly in my life.
Yeah. To tell me no, I can't do something. Yeah. Okay. Well, I liked it. Something to keep an eye on. I've gone with Hideki. That's who's got the sleeves.
I should have known that.
Show me Hideki. There he is. Yeah, this is it's Hideki at Muirfield Village. I need somebody who can potentially win. So I thought JT, I thought Hideki. I did think Ben Griffin was definitely on my short list, but I settled on Hideki. I like the way he played last week.
Yeah.
Mark, you little dog here. You're going with this is not a household name for $4 million. Who'd you go with?
Well, here's the thing. I made my own mistake and I referenced it because at the PGA, I was all over the show with my picks. And I was in a car on the way back to the hotel on our 1-hour trip in Philadelphia. And I was wrestling with the pick. And eventually, just purely out of panic, I picked Scotty, which was the worst decision I could have made because I was saving him for this week. My other potentials I had for this week were Victor Hovland, who I don't know, where on earth is Victor right now?
I have no idea.
And
I think he withdrew.
He did.
And then Ludwig. And I decided, no, I'm going to hold on to Ludwig. So this left me in a little bit of a pickle. It was either JT or this man, Sepp Straka.
Yeah.
Who, and look, I don't have the numbers behind this, but I know in pre-round research, when we go to the driving range on Saturdays and Sundays, you see the same people on the range late every single time. And it's Siwoo, and it's Sepp Straka, and it's Nick Taylor, and it's Scotty, and Jordan is around there once or twice, Ricky Fowler. But just, Sepp's coming off the big welcome home in Austria last week. He plays great. I heard Greg giving you all the numbers about the iron play. This is a bit of a safety for me. But like I said, I ruined my own vibe with going with Scotty at the PGA.
All right. This is we've got one of the biggest purses, and we've got Alex Smalley, Hideki Matsuyama, and Sepp Straka. I'm very interested to see in what direction Mina has gone. Greg believes this is Matt Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
And it is. Well done, Gregor. So Mina goes with Fitzy. So 4 lone wolves for $4 million.
Where's the drop?
Yeah, we need that. I don't have my board with me. So yeah, good job. All right. That's
awesome.
Well done.
It's a big field and a big purse, but those guys could all be on this leaderboard come Sunday.
Oh yeah.
Easily.
Any final thoughts before I get us out of here? Greg has to go. So if you have some, keep them quick.
Not me. See you all later.
All right.
Hey, have a milkshake this week. How's that?
Okay. Yes. So what is your favorite? What would you choose?
Cookies and cream.
Greg?
Vanilla.
Oh, of course you would.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have chocolate or strawberry.
Have a vanilla milkshake and tell me it's not shockingly good.
Greg would have he wouldn't have one because they don't sell them at, I was going to say Trader Joe's. He doesn't even go to Trader Joe's.
The chocolate is really nice. The Buckeye, not for me. Everyone else loves that. Cookies and cream I can get behind, but probably chocolate or strawberry.
All
right.
Big thanks, producer Mina. She does all the hard work behind the scenes. Greg DuCharme, Mark Immelman. I'm Rick Gehman. This has been The Second Cut. We'll see you next time.